Good evening, guys, and welcome to All Things Football. Joining us this week alongside centre-back hardman, Spurs Rangers legend, Mr. Graham Roberts.
Hello, good evening.
And former FA Cup winner, Mr. Micky Hazard.
Good evening.
We have our very special guest who changed the face of football forever. Football TV as well. Never one to shy away from an opinion and gave us plenty of comedy gold. It's none other than Arsenalfantv'S TV, Claude.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Welcome.
At the moment,
With the enemy.
Dude, can I just welcome you to the show, Claude? I'm a bit disappointed. Welcome. I'm a bit disappointed that we're doing it on a Tuesday night because we're normally Thursday, but then I realised your Thursdays are full up, aren't they?
Yeah. We're in the Emmerdale Cup. Yeah,
Very good.
Not a fan, Claude. Not a fan.
Oh, dear.
All right, so let's get straight into it then, shall we? So, through my childhood, as I was growing up, you know, Arsenal were always the most dominant team in North London through the 90s and early noughties. But I'd say in the last couple of years, it's been a slight power shift. Obviously, Tottenham have finished above you quite a few times. What do you think about that?
Power shift, yeah, because of the league-wise, but I think what Spurs do need a trophy to confirm it more than anything. And that's what they do need, I think, this year. And because I think just to keep the squad going that they've got. But at the moment, yes, you're in front. You're league-wise, you're a better team than us. I hate it to say it because it really bothers me a lot.
But you know what's interesting, Claude? What's really interesting is you say that there's no power shift because we haven't won a trophy. So are you saying that if we finish in the top four for the next 20 years and you finish outside of it, there's no power shift?
Do you think the gap's closed, despite us not winning a trophy?
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying, when you say power shift, yeah, as far as a team in the league-wise, so that's what you should judge it on, yeah?
Yeah.
Not the cup competitions, because even Wigan can win the FA Cup, you know what I'm saying, and got relegated in the same season. But I think Tottenham do need a trophy just to get that.
Yeah, a trophy confirms what a good side we are ultimately in the end. I mean, the fact that we're challenging
that's how
on
football has changed, isn't it? Because
absolutely. But it does confirm, you're right, it confirms that you are a very, very good side. Tottenham are a very good side, and one day soon they are going to get over the line. I'm hoping and praying that it's this year's Champions League, mainly because we've got a chance, because there's not many games to go. We've proved that we're capable of living with the best because we went to Barcelona, the new camp, and outplayed Barcelona. We qualified from a very difficult group. So sometimes Spurs are going to win a trophy. That sort of bad run of not winning is going to end, and I'm praying it's going to be the Champions League.
They always say the hardest one is the first.
Absolutely.
So.
I feel the one they really want is the league title, isn't it? I mean,
I think anybody wants that one,
yeah.
don't they?
I think
the
it's
one,
the hardest
the real
one to
big
win.
one is the league title. I mean, but I think I think their attitude this year towards the FA Cup was all wrong, because if you remember when Mourinho came into Chelsea, yeah, that League Cup,
Yeah, I agree.
it's got them going. That gives them belief that they could win something, yeah. And I thought the way they treated the FA Cup this year was, I think he shouldn't have treated it like that.
I think
I can understand if they'd already won trophies and they were just going for the league. That's great, but I think they should have tried better in the FA Cup.
I think the problem he had that day was the injuries. You know, if you have a look, this year we've had 37 different injuries.
Yeah.
25 players. Every player in the squad that is named in the Premier League has been injured. No other club has had that. So he's had to manage the team. Yeah. He knew he had to, like Newcastle, Leicester, Dortmund coming up. He put the team out, really, okay.
Yeah, but let's be fair. I mean, we should have won the game.
Should have
We
won
dominated the game.
We had a penalty, missed a penalty.
Yeah, we dominated the game totally. But the point is
still
that
haven't won a
once you
trophy.
win one trophy,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
over the line.
Yeah.
It leads you to the next
Next one.
and the
You know
next
what
and
I
the
see with
next.
Spurs is that mental edge to get over the line. They haven't got it yet. They should have won the league the year where Leicester won it.
No, I don't know. We never ever got close to them that year. Never got close to them. The game that everybody says, it was the West Brom game at home where we drew 1-1.
Yeah.
we went to Chelsea. If we'd have beat Chelsea that night,
I think
they would have won the league.
up as well.
Yeah, but they would have won the league anyway, Leicester. Because Chelsea would have just bent over
all credit
sideways.
to Leicester.
They
deservedly won the league, but
it.
towards the end of that
100%.
season, there was a lot of players coming out publicly. There was a lot of clubs coming out publicly saying they wanted Leicester to win. I thought the FA Premier League should have stamped down on it. You cannot come out and say I want Leicester to win the title when Chelsea had games against Leicester.
The last game was against.
And Eden Hazard and Cesc Fabregas came out and said we want Leicester to win the league. Wow, I mean that was staggering. And then they put out against us. They give their absolute everything, So I felt we were maybe didn't get quite close enough, but I also felt some of the other teams just took their foot off the gas a little bit.
Also, you've got to look at if you don't do it this year or the next year, the worry you've got is your wage structure, keeping the top players that you've got, and keeping your manager as well. Because I can understand. I remember a lot of the Tottenham fans were moaning about the start of the season. We haven't bought anyone, yeah? But with your wage structure as it is, there's no way you're going to get top quality.
Do you know?
Excuse me, could you tell me what our wage structure is? Because I don't know.
Listen, do you know our wage structure is the sixth highest in the league?
In the Premier League. Did you know that?
Well, it's below the other. I'm just saying.
But what I'm
It's
saying,
not at the same level as City.
no, it's not at the same. It's not at the same level as Man City. It's not at the same level as Liverpool. Not the same as Man United. It's not. But the players' wages, their bonuses, makes them near enough as good.
But we could have the same. Tottenham could have the same structure that Arsenal have, and you could have whoever on 350 grand a week. But has that benefited you having Mesut Ozil on that?
What I'm saying is, forget Arsenal.
Don't everybody.
Competing for the top prize, the Man Cities and which Liverpool have been very clever. They sold Coutinho for 140 million.
And bought a goalie in the centre half.
They played it clever.
Do you think they're going to win the league?
There's a good chance.
They've got a good chance.
They've got a good
if they don't bottle it.
So on Saturday,
I think there's three teams left in the league.
Our wage structure and Liverpool's, about that difference? A lot, a big difference.
Not in the wage structure. I think there's a big difference in the amount of money that was spent on transfers.
And wage structures as well.
Yeah, I'm not so sure when you add up all the add-ons that there's a massive difference.
What I'm saying is, on Sunday they play Man United, they get beat, Tottenham are 2 points behind them.
Yeah. And I think they spent somewhere in the. What did they spend pre-season?
I don't know.
In the
75
million on the centre back.
It was lots
they
of money.
spent fortunes, but we've got a great. The thing that I like most about the job Pochettino's done is that he's built a great side, but he's built it and he's combined the homegrown talent and coached and developed them to become better footballers. But then he'd supplemented that with the odd signing here and there, like Eriksen, people like that, who he's transformed into a top footballer. So I look back in the early 80s and the last, what I consider to be a really good Spurs side, it was full of homegrown talent, supplemented by big name signings. And the homegrown talent give it the heart and soul, and the big name signings improve the homegrown talent, and they work together, they go hand in hand. And that's what I feel is happening today. And I absolutely am a big fan of the way Pochettino does the job at Spurs. While I don't disagree that it's nice every season to have a big name signing, but if we'd have signed a midfielder at the start in the summer there, what about Harry Winks, who's developing into an absolutely top player?
Top player.
We would have stifled his development.
But that's what I'm trying to say. When people, I'm saying about the Tottenham fans were moaning they didn't buy
at the beginning of the season.
But I don't think you could have bought that quality that would stay on the bench.
Oh,
for the money, for that sort of money.
Hard to do.
Spot on. I fully understand.
And that's why I don't think Spurs could buy anyone.
That's right. And Harry Redknapp recently made the suggestion on TV, live TV, when he said that who can Spurs buy that is going to come into the club and sit on the bench because they can't get in the team because the team is so good. And that's the problem we have, is that signing top footballers. We had the chance who was the centre forward? Morata. We could have got, and he said, "I'm not coming because I don't want to sit on the bench behind Harry Kane."
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the problem that Spurs have.
Well, in the papers today, I don't know, one of the papers, it was Tottenham made a bid for Mitrovic.
Yeah, Mitrovic. From
Fulham, but Fulham turned it down.
But is he that quality? Do you know what I'm saying?
But
maybe
it's hard to have an amazing number two if you're behind Harry Kane.
Exactly. But what I'm trying to say, that's what I'm trying to say. The backup, they done really well without spending any money this year. As you say, you're only 5 points off the lead. Anything can happen, but I think it needs to happen
sooner rather than later.
It needs to happen either this year or the next season.
I think
because I feel that your manager will be pulled away.
No chance. I think come the end of the season, when we've won the double, I think that you will be sitting, looking back on this show and thinking...
if that happens, I'm off to Australia.
I tell you what will happen, Claude, because I know you well. I know what will happen, Claude, is if that happens, I guarantee you will become a Spurs fan, because you're a secret Spur.
Wow.
He's a secret Spur.
Wow.
You're a secret Spur, Claude.
A secret Spur from down under.
No way, I had to live in Edmonton for a few years and put up with all that.
That's where I lived, when I came to London, in Edmonton.
So many big rivalries in football, so many big derbies, big games. I'm going to give you some of the biggest ones, mainly in the UK, and you guys tell me what you think is the biggest and why. So we've got Liverpool United, Tottenham Arsenal, City United, Everton Liverpool, Sunderland Newcastle, Portsmouth Southampton, and Celtic Rangers.
Well, for me, you ain't going might be controversial here, but it's rivalry, but not competitively. You're talking about fans-wise, and
the biggest one that gets everyone going.
To me, is the one in Scotland.
But that's based a lot on religion, so I'm not just sure that's the biggest footballing one.
Competitive as it used to be.
No, you're right there.
But it is a big one with the fans. When it comes to fans, atmosphere, you can't beat. I don't think Graham.
Yeah, I played in it.
You played in it.
It's actually, when you look at them, it's incredibly
Can I
difficult
just say that
To separate them.
every derby has its own passion and has its own...
You've got to think the Newcastle Sunderland one.
Tottenham Arsenal. I think now the atmosphere at Tottenham Arsenal, when it was at the old White Hart Lane, it was amazing.
I'm a little bit disappointed you've missed the North London derby off, Barnet and Spurs.
The coward,
You can't let him do that. You can have the South London derby, Arsenal and Cheltenham.
No, I think. Listen, I was
also Liverpool Man United is a big one.
Big one.
I was brought up in the Spurs youth setup, the schoolboy setup, the junior setup, the youth setup, the reserve, and as you progress through each various stage of the development programme, you are taught about the history and the traditions and the philosophies of the club, but also you're taught about the NLD. The NLD is the biggest game in your season, and you can play in that game and you score the winning goal. You are a hero for months. And that's how much the NLD means to you. And as a kid coming through the system, I learnt this in the junior team, in the youth team. Every time I played against them in the juniors, I had the same passion to beat them. And when you've come through it as a youngster, it means so much more to you to beat the enemy.
Like I said, every derby has its own passion.
Yeah.
What's interesting though, Claude, as a fan from a pure, me and Rob were talking as former players against clubs. As a fan, and you as well, Abby, what gives you that passion and desire to beat the old enemy like we have as players? What gives you that passion? What makes it so important to you?
It makes me personally feel sick.
Well,
the thought of losing.
I'll tell you what, Micky. I hate the game because
I agree. I hate it as well.
Because but you just want. You're happy once the game's finished and you've won,
Completely.
But I hate the build. I hate the build up. I hate the
night before. You're so anxious.
And you're standing there when the game started, and you're nervous, more than nervous than any other game, because that's how much it means.
I'm with you.
I never used to get like that.
No, but I kick every ball.
I used to kick every player.
Not as a player, I didn't get like that, but as a fan,
Charlie knows all about it.
I can't bear it.
Because you can't do anything.
You can't do anything about it.
It's just.
I actually can't bear the game till it's over and we've lost. When we've won, I love it. When we've lost, I turn off Twitter.
Yeah, you can't.
Because you Arsenal fans love giving it to me.
Oh no.
You haven't, to be fair.
Just block them.
Okay, the king of blocking over here.
The block king over there.
Arsenal Twitter is another thing, yeah.
City United, it's kind of a new-ish
Yeah, well, it's never.
rivalry.
It's more of a derby than Liverpool Man United.
Yeah.
But the rivalry has only just come in the last few years.
Yeah.
The Liverpool Man United one is been there for
Liverpool Man United is probably
on the
bigger.
verge.
Yeah.
Going out, still being in the third tier, weren't they? I mean, they got that. Was it that Paul Dickoff?
You know, the Man United Liverpool one is bigger than the Everton Liverpool one, I would think, at the moment.
I'll tell you another one that's quite massive is the one up in North East as well.
That's a huge one.
That's another
huge,
one.
Yeah.
Sunderland is
Huge. Unfortunately, it will never be classed as huge at the moment because Sunderland, they're in Division 1 and the gulf is just so wide. But it is. It's a pretty. Coming from a family of Sunderland supporters, believe me, that is quite voiceless.
I remember years ago, Liverpool and Everton fans. They were quite close, weren't they?
Yeah.
But not so much now.
Not now, they hate each other.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call it big. I wouldn't call that the hate rivalry.
No.
But I don't like using the word hate because at the end of the day, it's a game of football.
That's it.
But that 90 minutes, you do hate.
Yeah.
But at the end of the
Yeah.
So, no, I'll still say fans-wise, I'd say the Scottish one, yeah, because.
Well, I've got to tell you a story there.
You've been involved in a lot,
I can say I've been involved in one or two, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6.
You caused World War III.
Well, the second game, I went in goal for Chris Woods, and I got arrested coming off the pitch. So I was conducting the singing, the sectarian songs, but I just thought it was a normal song. And I was conducting, and when I came off, the policeman arrested me, so it was quite good.
Last week you told me you knew what you were doing.
I knew I did.
He knew what he was doing. So Claude, Unai Emery has been at Arsenal now for around about 6 months. Do you think he was the correct appointment? And is it too early to even judge at the moment?
I get the funny feeling he's a stopgap. And I think it's a stopgap by the board because they offered him a 2-year contract with not much money to spend as well. And I feel that he's come in here just to try and get his career back on track again after his failure at PSG. Well, not so much failure after getting the sack at PSG. And I just feel that if we'd have gone for someone like Allegri, there's no way Allegri would come here for 2 years without no money to spend, or any of the top real elite managers. I don't think he's an elite manager. I think maybe the job is too big for him. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't think he's.
So do you think you jumped ship
I
too
don't think the
early?
way he's handled the Ozil situation is great. To be honest with you.
Don't you think that football, it sort of goes around in cycles, and Arsenal had a very good cycle under Wenger.
But do you think you jumped ship early with getting rid of Wenger?
No, I think he should have gone. He should have gone a long time ago. I think
Why?
he should have gone after the whole game.
You've won cups. You won.
Yeah, I agree. But league-wise, I don't think. I know you say win cups. I don't think the cup competitions are what they were.
Okay.
I don't think the FA Cup is what it was.
But you went 22 games unbeaten with this manager.
Yeah.
And everybody jumped on. He lost one game. Everybody jumped on his back.
Well, 22 games.
To be fair, over the 22 games, man, they played a load of
not only that,
rubbish,
there was a lot of them games where it could have gone either way.
Yeah, and against average
When I
sides.
made that point as well, people say, "Oh no, well we're winning." Don't we're moaning about it, but you've got to see what's going in front of you.
Agree.
But I just feel that I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't think he's big enough for the job.
Do you mind me saying?
I've seen this with. I remember when we had Bruce Rioch in for 1 year.
Yeah,
And he was dismissed. And I feel maybe they're just.
That's what they're doing it.
I think they're getting him in just for a
Do you
while.
know what, Claude? It's the one thing that I hope you're right on. That he's not good enough for the job.
I know you do. I know you do. Yeah. Who knows? We might pinch your manager. Don't
No
we?
chance.
No chance.
There's no chance. He wouldn't go to Barcelona because he'd managed
Espanyol.
Espanyol.
Yeah, Sol Campbell said he wouldn't come to Arsenal, didn't he?
You can keep
Well, he might be the next manager. He's doing all right. Isn't he?
He's got the best brain in football, hasn't he?
Talented guy. Okay, so we touched on Mesut Ozil earlier. What do you think about the contract extension and then what's happened with Aaron Ramsey? Where do you feel the club's going with selling these
This
players?
is another mess that, and this is where I had problems with. You said about Arsenal, because under the old regime we put people like Ozil, we put them on high wages, and now they're not want to play them. And we've got Mkhitaryan on £200,000 a week. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
So can I?
Gazidis, I don't know what they've done there, but they're gone now.
But would you have kept Ozil or Sanchez?
I would have. I like both of them. I'm just saying that I rather have both of them here. I think Sanchez is a terrific player, but the trouble is he doesn't get on with the players. I think he's got a problem with the language. Maybe I think he's a bit of a loner, but he's a top footballer. But it's sad that he went. But I would have him back tomorrow. But he also I don't like the way Bellerin said that he had too much of a winning mentality. Well, hold on a minute.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Too much of a winning mentality. So what are we here for then? I mean, you know what I mean? I didn't understand those
Not
words.
the greatest thing in the world to say as a football player.
The club that's paid
The only thing you want to do is win.
Yeah, so
Every time
he
you
thought,
walk
he thought he
over
had
the
too
pitch.
much. He thought he had too much.
How can you
I
have
don't
too
think-
much?
every
You want to
game.
just win way too much for the level
Wow.
they're at.
Wow.
Do you think you'll finish top four?
It could be a struggle, but we've got the running's not too difficult. But then again, I'm looking at the Spurs, not Spurs, Chelsea's running. They've got to play Liverpool, they've got to play Tottenham and Manchester United. So there's Manchester United. I think Man United could finish fourth actually, and I think it's maybe fifth or sixth again.
Europa League, you win that?
Well, that's a good chance because you know what I mean. Yeah, we've got to get through the next round.
Did you go?
Claude, he's winding you up.
No, did you go?
Claude.
Did you go the other day?
Claude, he's winding you
No, I
up, mate.
couldn't
Don't
go.
take the bait.
No, I didn't go, but I watched in horror in the pub. And it wasn't good to watch. But I think we've got enough to beat them in the second leg. I think it's just everyone's going on about the pitch, but it works for both sides. But I think we'll beat them in the second leg. But it's not. It's after that.
But you got some good teams in that competition now.
Yeah, you
Napoli,
you got Sarri ball.
Chelsea.
And
But you've already beat them at home, haven't you? So it don't matter, does it?
so it's
I never watch it. I always watch Emmerdale, like you said. I always watch Emmerdale.
Thursday nights, isn't it? I'm actually quite glad you touched on Sarri and Sarri ball.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone watched the game the other day. Today there's links that they're having big conversations. He might be out, and Zidane and Lampard in, and he wants a £400 million budget and whatnot if they do come in. Do you think, because Chelsea have a pattern of always getting rid of a manager if it's not right with the players, do you think they should stick with him, or do you think get rid?
Sunday's a big game.
Yeah.
The cup final is a big game on Sunday for Sarri.
I think it's incredibly harsh to bring a new manager in and get rid of him before he's had a time to implement what he wants to
Sarri ball.
implement.
But what is Sarri ball?
Well, I don't know what Sarri ball is. It's football, I presume,
but-
and it's a form and a style of football.
Hold on.
But ultimately, irrelevant. He's making changes. Chelsea weren't going to win the title without Sarri ball, and now he's tried to make changes. And some of the changes I've actually quite liked. The quickness of the passing at the start of the season, for instance.
You've got the best player
Yeah.
in the world,
In
a
his
holding
position,
player,
yeah.
in his position, Kante,
Playing
who's won the World Cup, and he's playing him right wing.
No, but that's another issue. I absolutely agree that he should play Kante
Yeah, but
in front of the back four.
Micky,
One, because the guy who's playing there is not good enough
Yeah.
in the English football. He
He's
might
not.
be great in
In
Italy in
Italy,
a slower
slower game.
paced game,
Yeah.
but in English football he's not good enough. Kante is the best holding midfielder in the
100%.
country, right? So play him there, and it could transform Chelsea's season. But he has a style he wants to preach, and I actually admire the fact that he's been stubborn about his
Consistent,
beliefs.
yeah.
This
Okay.
is the way way he wants. He sees
Right,
the game.
so-
This is the way he wants to play, and he's stood by it through thick and thin, through criticism, and I think to myself, there's something admirable about that. I was pretty much like that as a player. You knew me as a player when managers.
Too much power in that changing room.
I agree
Yes.
with you
Yeah, but
completely.
I'm trying to get.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is, last night we watched the Man United game, Chelsea. Yeah, 2-0, 12, 13, 14 minutes to go.
Yeah.
He takes a right back off
Yeah.
and puts a right back on.
Yeah, his
Hold on,
substitutions
you've got to get
always-
2 goals. He should have put Giroud on
Yeah.
and just said, right, we play 3 at the back, we get the ball forward, get it. Sometimes you have to change.
He is incredibly stubborn to continuously make the same repetitive
But he
changes
hasn't
the
got
same
a B
minute.
plan. He's got an A plan, and then he sticks to that. He could have took Jorginho off last night, put Kante in there, put Giroud up front, and played 3 at the back because you had Alonso who can play left side, David Luiz, and the other lad Rudiger. Just played 3 at the back. You're 2-0 down, but he's so stubborn. He's like a Mourinho, where when Mourinho was leaving, he wanted to get out. And that's what he's doing. He's being stubborn. I'm not changing it. That's how we're playing. If you don't like it, tough.
You know, one of the problems is that.
The one thing though with Chelsea, they keep changing the manager, but it doesn't stop them winning
Winning-
trophies, does it?
No.
That's one thing they've got in there.
Yeah, because they've got good players. But the bottom line is that unfortunately, getting the sack nowadays often equates to about £20 million. I think
Yeah, Mourinho's
walked
just
away
done
with
that.
about
16
30
million.
million. Whatever it is.
It's
It's a
a
lot of money
lot
to
of
get
money.
the sack, and then you walk into another job because you're a
Straight
top
away,
manager.
yeah. But
You know,
it's a shame for Chelsea when they've got people like Hudson-Odoi that's sitting on their bench and it was desperate for that move to Bayern, and
Yeah.
yet he's just sitting there and he's bringing on Zappacosta.
But that's
Yeah.
him being stubborn, isn't it?
Do you think Conte was harshly treated though? Because he won
Well,
the title
because-
1 year, and you're going on about giving time, but he won the title,
And then he
won the FA Cup the next year.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
he was out of the job. Do you think that was a bit harsh?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think
sometimes it's very difficult to actually comment on what really has gone on. For instance, behind the scenes, we don't know. So we're talking of what we're seeing on the face of things.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, it sounded like he had a big fallout with the chairman, which then can lead to him getting... I don't know. It's
or
difficult.
players are going, well, we don't want to do that.
I also believe, I don't know whether this is working now, and I was one of these people saying give it a go. I don't know whether this director of football is
I don't
working.
like it.
Because at the end of the day, it should be his decision, the coach, what he wants
It's
to
okay
play.
to have a director of football
Right.
providing the final decision rests with the manager. How can a director of football pick and go and scout and sign a player on the basis that the manager doesn't know and then expect the manager to fit him into his system? He don't know what the manager wants to do. The manager picks out his selection of players and he goes to the director of football and says, right, this is the players I want in these positions, go and get them for me. And then there's a good case for a director of football, but not if he's going to be the decision maker.
No, your
It's a
coach,
conflict of
your
interest.
coach
It's
has to have
ridiculous.
the final say.
Yeah.
That's who I want.
Absolutely.
If you can't get number 1, try for number 2. Try for number 3. But I want number 1 if I can get him.
Yeah.
And that's it.
See, I think that Spurs, he's got that power, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. The manager's got every
Yeah,
power.
of
I don't think.
But ultimately-
Chelsea and Arsenal now. I don't think they've got that power anymore.
I think it's upstairs. isn't it?
Claude,
Like-
ultimately, Spurs lost one of their greatest ever managers as a consequence of them trying to, the then chairman trying to direct it in the way
Director of
that
football.
European football by appointing a director of football that then would make all the decisions. And our great manager, the General, Keith Birkinshaw, he said, no way. I'm making the decisions, I'm signing the players, and if you don't, I'll resign. You know, so it can actually cost you, well, it did, it cost us, for me, we had a team and a
10
squad
years.
and a youth setup that was going to win trophies for 10, 11, 12 years.
Having
And we
said
won
that-
3 in 3 years, and suddenly this great team, this great squad split up. We
Having
lost the
said that,
manager.
you needed it, wasn't it? A couple of years later, win the title. When it was that.
Yeah, in
85.
But that, in 85, Neville Southall had a blind
That was
shot
for me.
at that time.
Tottenham. I remember.
Absolutely, but
And,
but that was
it
that was because in the short term he appointed Peter
Peter
Shreves,
who
who was Keith's assistant, so there was a continuation
Yeah.
there, and we carried on in pretty much the same vein for a couple of years. But the general, the leader had sort of been pushed aside, and slowly there was a decline in,
Yeah.
and players left and got sold. So
No, the
Sad.
director of football has to get out of the game for me.
Will he still be there at the end of the season? Yes or no?
Abramovich.
No,
No,
Sarri.
Sarri. No.
Not for
No.
me, no.
No.
I don't
Claude?
think. I think he should be, but I don't think he will be.
I think Sunday, if they get beat Sunday, I think Monday he'll be out of a job.
Well, I think it's a big risk because it's 10 games. But if they bring someone like Lampard in,
Well, they won't, will they? They go with
they
Zola.
might do what Solskjaer
But as a
They're
top,
going with Zola.
but as a top manager,
They go
as a
with
top-
Zola.
Oh, with Zola,
Robo,
yeah.
as a top manager outside of the game, and you see the goings on at Chelsea that are saying, well, 6 months and you're out of a job because you've not been successful.
really?
Yeah. Would you
As
want to
a
get
top
involved?
manager, would you
No.
want to take you in? I suppose the payoff of getting a sack might tempt them in.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
it can help because look at Di Matteo, he won the
He won the
Yeah,
Champions
League.
So it can help because
So I think-
what happens is that it gives the players a bit
Yeah,
because
but the thing about it is that you've got players there at the moment who the manager's having a go at, but the coach is going around going, don't worry about it. So they're his mates. So he gets a sack, he takes over, oh, we'll play for him.
yeah.
That's how it goes.
It works
That is
for a
how it
while,
happens.
It works for a while and then
And
Yeah, but I
then
don't think in this instance it will. I think Sarri's team will leave with them.
I think
Quite
Zola will take over and
Yeah.
till the end of the season. And
Yeah, but Zola hasn't been
Zola won't.
particularly successful in the managerial
No, I-
role. So
Micky,
I'm not
I
so
agree
sure,
with you, I
I'm
agree.
not so sure they
Nor
will
was
appoint
Solskjaer,
Zola.
nor was
He'd obviously
Solskjaer,
be a
but-
fan's
He's
favourite.
doing something, right?
yeah, nor was Solskjaer, but short term
Yeah.
it does work.
it does
It
work.
does.
It does work.
But Solskjaer's proven himself to be very tactically astute.
Let's wrap up and do predictions for the weekend.
Yeah.
Starting off with Cardiff v Watford.
I'm going to go for a Cardiff win.
They're
There.
on a bit of a run.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a Cardiff win there. 1-0, I think.
1-0.
Watford 2-0.
Yeah, on their day, Watford could be a very
Yeah.
tricky side. I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
Okay. West Ham Fulham. Very unpredictable West Ham.
I'm going to go 3-0.
3-0 West Ham.
Yeah, 3-0 West Ham.
Fulham are gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I think they'll score. West Ham.
3-1.
3-1.
West Ham concede goals. I think West Ham will win the game. 4-1.
Early kick-off this week. Burnley v Spurs.
I think hopefully the star man will be back. Look at Claude, he's laughing now. I'm going to go Burnley 0, Tottenham 2.
Okay.
They're a bit improved a bit, Burnley.
I knew he was going to say that.
Tried everything.
But I don't think he'll start, Kane, because I don't think he'll start. I think he'll come on second half.
And
I'm
score
going to
two.
go. I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs. Yeah.
I think it's a very, very, very tough game, and as Claude says, Burnley have picked up
Yeah.
considerably. I think it's going to be an incredibly tough game. So I'm going to go Burnley 1, Tottenham 4.
Bournemouth v Wolves. Wolves are actually my favourite team aside from Tottenham this season. I've loved watching them.
Okay, so I'm going to go. I think Bournemouth are very, very good at home. If they put their first team in place in their first 11 that they've got, I think they will beat Wolves. I think they will beat Wolves 3-1.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Thing with Wolves, they
got
play
the FA
well.
Cup.
They play well against the top sides, and when it comes to a team where they
Yeah.
have to
Agreed.
make the running, I'm going to go 1-0 to Bournemouth. I just think 1-0.
Wow,
I'm-
you're back in Wolves.
I'm going to
shocked.
go
I just got a feeling about
2-1
this.
to Bournemouth. Wow. Yeah. I think Wolves are a
Wow.
very good side and more than capable, but I think Bournemouth at home have had some really terrific results. 2-1, Bournemouth.
Okay, shot me there.
What would you go for?
I think I'd go 2-1 Wolves.
Yeah, you've always been wrong.
I'm always wrong with my predictions, actually. But I've enjoyed watching Wolves so much.
Yeah,
this
they were
season.
great at Wembley
Well,
this
get a
season.
season ticket there.
No, I'm
then.
all right. I've got enough on my plate, thank you. Newcastle, Huddersfield.
Oh, I think Huddersfield have gone. They brought this new manager in. I don't see any different. I think Newcastle were very unlucky against Wolves the other day. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 Newcastle win.
Gave Arsenal a tricky time.
Who, Huddersfield?
Yeah,
they?
they were very
Yeah,
tricky
the
game.
stats in that game, they only just scraped it.
In fact, possession-wise, they had more possession, which was quite amazing. Newcastle at home now. I think they're 2-0 Newcastle.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a romp for Newcastle. I think they'll win 3-0.
Okay, Leicester Palace.
I think with Palace qualifying for the FA Cup, I think their minds are beyond that. They're still in a little bit of trouble down the bottom there, but they'll get out of it. There's no doubt.
Weeks away.
Yeah, there's only two weeks, isn't it? It's
But Premier League's more
They play
important.
once,
isn't it?
and they play
I know,
once a week.
but that's what I'm saying. So,
You put
but
out
I
the best team.
But I just think that Leicester, having seen them play against Tottenham, I thought they were very, very good. So I think they'll have too much for Palace, and I think it'll be a close game, but I think Leicester will win 2-1.
Completely dominated against Spurs, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought they dominated the game.
But they lost.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you've mentioned it, Claude.
But in the end, they didn't. I think they made a big mistake. I think no one.
The penalty?
No one should come on the pitch
Absolutely.
and take a
Take
penalty.
that.
Amazing
So,
mistake.
okay, so just on that little incident, you kick off the game, you get a penalty straight away, 30 seconds. Should he take the penalty?
Absolutely, because
Well, what's
he's
the
in
difference?
he's in the flow of the game.
Oh, yeah, it's just what he
Yeah, but
just
he's
kicked
coming
off.
off. There's a
warm-up,
total
he's-
difference. You
he's
start the
just-
game
yeah.
mentally attuned.
And also, he's been sitting down as well for.
Oh, that makes a lot of
mostly.
difference, doesn't
And
it?
he's just come on. He's not. You know.
He's not mentally attuned
not
yet.
there.
Well, I'm
He should take notice of me. My
Madison
penalty
should have took it, but anyway, he didn't. And I thought Leicester deserved better out of the game. I think they at least a draw. Spurs.
No, we're not talking about Leicester Spurs. We're talking about Leicester Palace.
I'm just saying.
Stop talking about Spurs.
Just going on about the game, yeah. Just going on about that game yourself, right?
Yeah,
And
you're
then,
getting it, you know.
But again, you play bad and win. That's
good.
That's a good team.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I'm going to go 2-0 Leicester.
Yeah, I've got to say I agree with Robo and Claude that they were both. Leicester was excellent at Wembley. In fact, on that particular day, I thought they could have easily won the game comfortably. They played ever so well. Very, very impressed. I think that their manager's doing a great job. Surprised at the criticism from the fans. He's doing a brilliant job for them. And I think that Palace, a difficult side to beat, and particularly away from home, they've had some great results. So I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
But just on that Leicester thing, like you just said, he's under a bit of pressure. I think he's lost 6 out of the last 7 games.
Yeah.
And they're playing like
They
that.
play good football though.
Good football, good side.
Okay, Arsenal Southampton.
Let you go first here, Claude.
Let you do the honours.
I think we'll win, but I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be easy because we'll have the game on Thursday. I'm going to go. Yeah, go on 2-0 Arsenal.
I think that obviously Arsenal lost down at the Dell or Southampton, and I think
St Mary's now.
We've come a long way.
St.
Long way now.
And I think that it's a very difficult game for Arsenal, I really do, and this is without any bias whatsoever. Arsenal at times this season haven't performed. I know they've got a good record at home, but they haven't actually performed particularly well, and it's been more often the other teams missing chances early on to allow Arsenal to come strong in the second half. I think that'll be a 1-1 draw.
The thing is with this game, though, it's not. If it was at St Mary's, I'd agree with you. But I think home advantage.
Got
But
that
as you
ama-
rightly
I
amazing-
think
I think
Arsenal
it's
have
following a big game. What Thursday's now a big game. It could have been it should have been a game where they could come in on Thursday night and put the reserves out. You know, they'd won 7-0 away, relax,
Yeah, that's
save the
what-
players for
that's what I
Sunday. But
couldn't
now
understand.
it's a battle on
But
Thursday.
I
I
think-
couldn't understand his tactics for that game. I mean, to go to a place like that and play with 5 at the back and 2 DMs is ridiculous. But
Yeah.
But I think it'd be I think Arsenal will win. Their own record is too fast superior. I think Southampton is struggling, so I think they'll win 2 or 3-0. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Biggest.
don't like saying that, you know that. Yeah.
I'm surprised you said it. Biggest Premier League game of the weekend. United Liverpool. So that's a big one in that title race.
I think being at United, I think United have to be very, very wary of Liverpool hitting them on the break because they are very, very quick. If they can get over the first 20 minutes, I think, and play at high tempo, Man United play at high tempo, like they did with Chelsea in the first 10 minutes last night, I think they could, because I don't think Liverpool have the best back four at the moment with their injuries. So they can get at them, and I think Rashford can get at them. Lukaku's a big, strong lad. Hopefully, they might play Sanchez on the wing to come inside. Me personally, I think Man United will win it, and it'll be very tight, but I think they'll win 2-1.
If they had Martial, it's not playing, is it?
No.
And the other one, Lingard.
Lingard's I think still out.
Listen, I just got a thing that.
It's a tough one.
It's tough because I just think that they're going up another level now. Solskjaer went up a level against PSG and didn't seem to cope with that. He was coping until those two players went off injured. I just feel that I think Liverpool will, going forward or on the counter attack, will do them. I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool.
Okay.
I think it's a massive game. It's a massive game for the Premier League. So obviously, if we want an exciting Premier League, it would be lovely to see Liverpool lose to keep everyone compact and tight, so it keeps it exciting and
Man City, you've got to worry about, not Liverpool.
But no, how can you not worry about Liverpool?
Yeah, I'm worried, but I think Man City.
The bottom line,
Liverpool win every game. They won the league.
That's right. So that's why we have to worry about them as well. But the bottom line is that Liverpool have a very, very, very good forward line who score goals, and I think this game's going to be about who defends the best.
And also Liverpool have got a lot of defensive injuries. I think.
That's right.
I think for the game against Bayern, they've got Fabinho and Matip. I think at the back.
Whoever defends the best out of the two sides, I think will win the game. But Man United are looking so pacey up top, but so do Liverpool as well. They've got Mane and Salah who are lightning, and they score goals. So I think whichever defence wins that battle wins the game. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Well, I just think Man United being at home and losing the game at Liverpool in Mourinho's last game, I just think them players have got something to show now, and I think they're going to get it.
I just feel that with those two players missing, I think they're going to come up a bit short.
Maybe.
Playing Chelsea is the other day. I mean, is a different proposition. And when they came up against PSG, it was completely. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
well, you said 2-0, so
for me.
Go on, say it.
I want Liverpool to win.
Why?
Because I don't want you not winning.
Last prediction: Carabao Cup final, City v Chelsea.
Quick
Who's
one.
winning it?
I think City will have too much room. I think Pep will go with a really strong team. I'm going to go 4-1.
You know what? I'm going to go for a shock here.
That's a shock.
So am I.
I
actually believe Chelsea's going to win that.
I do too.
The reason I win, I think Man City won't have it they won't have that same hunger. And I said this last year. You know when we played Chelsea in the final, they'd already won the league. I said, and they had that last game, and they had that John Terry thing where they
I remember.
were treated like a testimonial. And I thought that. I said they're gone. They're on the beach. And I said it to Chelsea fans. I said we're going to win that cup final because they were already on the beach, and I don't think they had that hunger.
But I think,
having won the league,
Man City's midfield around. If he plays the same way, Sarri, they will crucify Jorginho and they will win the game.
Yeah, but that's what you say. But Chelsea had superior team to Arsenal that cup final. But they didn't have that hunger. They didn't have
Man City have got
hunger.
For it.
I'm expecting
Man
half
City
a shock.
bigger things.
I tell you why, Chelsea have coming up so much under the cosh, and you know better than anyone, Robo. As a player, when you're under the cosh, you come out fighting, your back's to the wall, and you come out ready to go to war. I think Chelsea players, if they were playing Hartlepool or Darlington, I think there's a possibility they could lose. But when you're playing Manchester City in a cup final, if you're not up for it, you're not up for anything. So I just feel like Chelsea players are going to be so fired up. And the 6-0 actually works in Chelsea's favour more than Man City's. So I think there's going to be a sneaky little shock. And I think Chelsea are going to win 2-1.
It's been great anyway.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Pleasure.